this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner, or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today. With no fees or minimums on checking accounts, it's no wonder the Capital One bank guy is so passionate about banking with Capital One. If he were here, he wouldn't just tell you about no fees or minimums. He'd also talk about how most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. Yep, even on weekends. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, N.A., member FDIC.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh Clark, and there's Charles W. Chuck Bryant, and there's Jerry over there. And this is Stuff You Should Know, the podcast about ping pong.
I'm excited about this one.
Oh, I'm glad.
I love ping pong.
Are you any good? I don't think we've ever played, have we?
I don't think we have.
That's crazy.
There was that one time we were at that ping pong bar, and we just stared at each other for an hour, but we never played.
I remember that as being air hockey. I remember the staring.
Yeah, dude, I love ping pong. I'm pretty good for just a recreational ponger.
Uh-huh.
And I finally got a table. I got an outdoor table.
Oh, nice. An outdoor table. Fancy.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't have room inside.
Well, yeah, if you have an outdoor table, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got one under the deck.
Very nice.
And it's just the best. I have had many times in my life where, and now it's just kind of when I can get someone over, or if Emily and I have a window. Mm-hmm. But at various points in my life, I have played a lot of ping pong, including when I lived in L.A., my buddy John Pindell, Chef John, you know John. Mm-hmm. He was, I think, living at a place that had an outdoor table, and this was outdoor in Los Angeles, so it's kind of great. It's just out there in the backyard. Mm-hmm. And then my brother and I have had epic, legendary ping pong battles at his house. In his fun basement.
Like matches, like a single game that went on forever kind of thing?
Just, I mean, not that, but like 2 out of 3. Like every time family's over there, at one point we will disappear and everyone's like, where'd Scott and Chuck go? And we're down there
nice.
Going at it.
That's awesome.
It's just so much fun. I love ping pong.
I love ping pong too, but my eyes are kind of open. I realize I'm not quite as much the ping pong aficionado as I once thought I was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Between you and this article, I realized I'm a total schlub when it comes to ping pong.
Yeah, I'm not bad.
Good. So we're talking ping pong today, and Chuck, you can just phone this one in. Mm-hmm. I had to do a lot of extensive shoe leather research on this one. But the idea of ping pong, when you think of it, especially in the 21st century, most people think of China when they think of ping pong,
sure.
Especially here in the U.S., but really worldwide, because China is nuts for ping pong. And there are plenty of other countries, too, that love ping pong. Don't get me wrong. Sweden is known as one of the major homes of ping pong. The Japanese love ping pong. It's basically almost every country except America really has a thing for ping pong. Here, it's just, fun, recreational stuff. In other countries, it is taken very, very seriously. And there are pockets that take it seriously here, too. There's the U.S. Table Tennis Association, which has been around since the 30s. But I think what I mean, as far as the public goes, thinking about table tennis players, we don't exactly hoist them on our shoulders and carry them around the room after a match, what might happen to them in other countries.
That's a very good point.
But
here it's sort of more of a recreational. Like you said, there are some competitive players, to be sure, in organizations, but it's a sport you can play while you're drinking a beer,
Sure. Now, you don't want to do that if you are actually a competitive pro table tennis player. But I say all that, Chuck, because while we think of China as like the home of table tennis, it actually is a British invention. Did you know that?
I did.
Well, of course you did. You're a table tennis pro.
No, I mean, I knew that just because it was a variation of tennis, which the Brits also gave us. It is a racket sport, which you can include things like badminton and smoosh ball and smash ball. What are those things they play down at Venice Beach? What is that called?
Pickleball?
Is that what it is?
Mm.
It's basically like a miniature tennis court. I think it's called smash ball.
Okay.
I don't know. People are yelling it in their car right now at me. But
I think you're talking about pickleball.
Is it pickleball?
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of like a shrunken down tennis court.
Yeah.
But obviously they're playing, it looks like tennis with oversized ping pong paddles.
Right, exactly. Okay, yeah, that's pickleball.
All right.
It might be called smash ball too. You know, there's regional differences.
No,
Hoagie, grinder, hero, that kind of thing.
I think smash ball is something else entirely.
You're thinking of smash mouth.
Oh, God. Not that again.
Yes.
Reference to our live show that we just did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what I was saying was it is known as a racket sport or a racket game wherein you have a racket, you hit something over a net to another human or maybe a robot even, as we'll get to. But and there's a court. There are boundaries of some kind that you need to hit it in. It's not just a crazy free-for-all.
Right, exactly. You can't just like win a point by crushing it over your opponent's head.
That wouldn't be fun.
It takes skill and finesse.
Yeah.
And it even takes more skill and finesse than like tennis does, like lawn tennis. Because
lawn tennis?
Well, so there's a difference. There's royal tennis, which is played like, I'm trying to remember what movie it appeared in. Maybe it was even Downton Abbey. I'm not sure, but where you play it indoors, it's like tennis indoors, and there's like the ball is hard and wrapped in cloth. And
is that not squash?
No. Right. There's royal tennis, and then there's lawn tennis or modern tennis is what it's called. And ping pong is a variation on modern tennis. But it takes more finesse because, yes, you can smash the ball, and that is a way to go, aggressive attack style playing. But there's also a really good way to play too, which is strictly defensive, and it's all finesse and spin. And we'll see, like, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, which is why if you start to look around at who plays table tennis, you'll find that there are table tennis tables in places where there are very smart people. Like MIT has a table tennis club, and CERN has a table tennis club in one of their cafeterias. Like smart people like this because there's a lot of physics involved into it, and there's not a lot of running around either.
Yeah, you don't see them. You don't see dum-dums because they're just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, like smash ball paddle.
But we do know that although we don't know like the inventor, there is not one person that is credited with its invention. Mm-hmm. But the story goes that British soldiers in South Africa or India were bored, and the weather wasn't so great, and they were probably drinking, and so they came up with this little smaller version of tennis played on a table. As the story goes, using cigar box lids.
Using Sbarro lids.
And a whittled down champagne cork to make it round.
Yeah.
Which, that wouldn't be a bad little first go.
I saw that exact same story was attributed to some wealthy British aristocrats who were bored one day.
That sounds about right.
But there seems to be unanimous agreement that it was on a table with some cigar box lids and a cork whittled down.
Yeah, and so, it grew from there. It growed, excuse me.
I think you still got another try left.
It growed from there into...
Wait. You mean grew, right?
I'm kidding, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The first time I knew you were kidding. The second time I was like, Chuck.
I'm a good straight man.
You really are.
It grew from there, and the names changed various times. The first manufacturer to actually put out and sell ping pong tables was the Jacques Games Company, and they called it Gossamer. Mm-hmm. There was another trademarked name, Whiff Waff, which was the Schlesinger Company's name.
Yeah, and the world was like, you got another try there.
There was one called Flim Flam. I don't know if that was trademarked from a company or if that was just a nickname.
And all these, with the exception of Gossamer, they were meant to emulate the sound the ball made going back and forth, right?
Really?
Well, yeah, Whiff Waff.
It doesn't sound like Whiff Waff at all.
What about Flip Flam?
Nope.
Okay.
Maybe the sound of the paddle sounds like a whiff and a waff,
Right.
but not the ball.
Okay, fine. But gossamer meant it was like after gossamer, which was kind of fine and thin and elegant, which was like the ball play. It was what that was describing. They were all terrible, terrible names. I can't believe I just said that.
So they did use cork at first, but they didn't bounce great. Rubber wasn't good because it had too much bounce. The rackets were really kind of crazy looking at first. Some had really long handles, kind of looked like a badminton racket with vellum stretched over a wooden frame, but they were not, they broke on the table and stuff. So they were really kind of refining it in those early years as far as the equipment goes.
Right. And I think it was was it Jacques? No, yeah, it was Jacques. J. Jacques and Son, who were the ones that were selling those, like what you just described, just kind of cheap, not well made, not really well thought out equipment for ping pong.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't called ping pong at the time until the late 1890s when that same company, J. Jacques and Son, who were a sporting goods outfit, started calling it ping pong in their catalog. It just converted from gossamer over to ping pong through these guys.
Yeah, and it was before that, in 1885, there was an attempt to patent it as table tennis by a guy named James Devonshire, but 2 years later, he abandoned that pursuit. I don't know if it was just taking too long or if he saw the writing on the wall, but he left that behind. And then it would be, like you said, 1901 was when Jean-Jacques trademarked that ping pong name.
Yep. And then Parker Brothers bought the North American, or at least American, rights to use ping pong exclusively. And they brought ping pong to the United States with that. And this is the reason why, if you look up any professional association or any competitive like ping pong group, they always refer to it as table tennis because ping pong is a trademark. Table tennis is not. Plus, also over the years, ping pong has gotten an association with
people like me.
Yeah, just people having fun playing it. Where table tennis has been the route that most competitive. It denotes competitiveness, competition, pro kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think if you're just hanging around the locker room or whatever with some table tennis pros, they'll refer to it as ping pong, and no one's like, oh, I can't believe you just called it that.
And you were like, no, that's locker room talk.
Right.
So the same year that ping pong was trademarked in 1901, there was an Englishman named James Gibb. He found these celluloid balls when he went to the U.S. that were it wasn't for table tennis. It was just a toy, a novelty toy. He's like, this is pretty great, actually. It's pretty lively. It's light, just the right amount of bounce. And so I think celluloid is kind of like the route we should take. And everyone seemed to agree, and that sort of became the de facto ping pong ball.
Right. It stayed that way forever. Celluloid is a type of plastic. It's super flammable. Like it's what film stock, like camera film, was made from forever. But like I said, it's very flammable, and your ball's going to go up in flames if you pass it over a candle, like if you're lighting your game by candle. So that's not very good. But that was an enormous change that pushed ping pong way forward, because up to that point, a cork ball didn't bounce very well, a rubber ball bounced too much. You couldn't really play ping pong like we see it today. It was more like, oh, serve, oh, sorry, here's another serve, oh, sorry, here's another serve, that's my point. It was just boring. When that guy came along with the celluloid balls and introduced them for ping pong play, it made it fun, finally. Ping pong finally became fun.
Yeah, just a year after that, too, the paddle, and this is all sort of aligning perfectly, the paddle underwent a big change. Over the years preceding, they had used cork to cover them and leather sometimes.
I saw that you can still buy leather-covered ping pong paddles at Tiffany's.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Pearl handle, leather.
Yeah.
Leather facing.
Yeah.
But they couldn't land on the right materials. And then in 1902, at a tournament, a man named E.C. Good found this dimpled rubber coin mat, wrapped it around his paddle, and he's like, this thing is pretty boss. I can get a little spin on it. We got this ball from the year before, and everything's sort of clicking at this point.
Right. So you got the great ball, you got the great covering, And now ping pong's ready to explode. And it started to, and then it just stopped.
Ooh, let's take a break.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a good cliffhanger.
And find out what killed ping pong right after this.
Well, now, when you're on the road, driving in your truck, why not learn a thing or two from Josh and Chuck? It's stuff you should know. Stuff you should know. All right.
Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner, or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today.
All cat parents understand the feeling of being ignored by your cat and often asking yourself, does my cat even love me? And there is only one solution to solve that, Sheba. Feed your cat Sheba and go from feeling ignored to truly adored in 12 days guaranteed or your money back. Sheba has a menu of products, appetizers, entrees, treats, and even a kittens menu. So Sheba has a product for even the pickiest eater, like the Sheba Puree, which is made with bone broth. It's a protein-rich, lickable treat with chef-inspired flavors. It has a smooth and creamy texture that cats love. Plus, it supports a strong bond between pet parents and their cats with a hand-fed cat treat. It also contains no corn, wheat, soy, or artificial flavors. So instead of feeling ignored, you're suddenly the center of their world. It's basically a fast pass to favorite human status. Next time you're wondering if your cat loves you, grab Sheba Puree or explore their entire range of textures and flavors at your local retailer. To learn more, check out Sheba.com.
Learning things with Chuck and Josh. Stuff you should know.
All right, so ping pong's finally coming into its own. It's finally getting good, and then right as it is, it just drops off as a fad. The craze, especially in the United States, and I think in Europe too, it just kind of went away. And there's no real obvious reason why, but our old pal Ed dug up an example that he thinks might be behind it. There was an ad for the National Guard in 1914 where one of the major generals in the National Guard said that they don't want any ping pong warriors, which implies that the sport was seen as effeminate, or that you were kind of a wimp or something if you played ping pong. So it's possible that like that kind of the warlike masculinity, it rose above it, and ping pong got pushed down as a result.
Well, and also World War I and the Spanish flu probably put a dent in fun games like this overall, I would say.
Sure.
I mean, that's just a guess, but they had more important fish to fry than playing ping pong.
But
it came back right after the war.
Right after the war. And I don't think that it is coincidental that this was also a time when people started smoking pot a lot in America, the jazz age. So you had jazz, marijuana, cigarettes, and ping pong. Those are the big three of the jazz age.
It's quite a mix.
Yep. And then, so Parker Brothers still had their trademark on this whole thing. They're like, oh, great. Hallelujah. It's the jazz age. And they started throwing these competitions with cash prizes, and celebrities showed up. It was a big deal.
Yeah. I imagine during the marijuana craze, too, they were like, this is great for what we're doing, but we got to keep score, and that's a problem.
Right. Somebody's got to stay sober for this.
Like, what was it? Whose serve was it? No, wait. Is it 7-6? Do we play to 21?
Like, man, you're way too uptight for this.
So I believe in the 20s is when they started having these big tournaments, Parker Brothers with prizes. Celebrities were coming out. The ITTF was officially founded in the mid-20s.
That's the International Table Tennis Foundation.
Yeah, and they start having world championships in 1926.
Yeah, like right off the bat.
Yeah, and it was a big deal. Like, obviously, they stopped during World War II for a period of time, but pretty much every couple of years since 1926, aside from the war, they started holding these, I guess, would it be biannual, or what's every 2 years?
Well, that could be, yes, biannuals every 2 years.
That's not twice a year.
I think it can be.
Oh, it's one of those things?
I think you would use semi-annual might even be quarterly. I'm not sure. I think it can mean either one, just like with weekly.
Yeah, but those first years, Hungarians were the dominant country. They won 8 of the first 9. 4 of those went to the same guy, a guy named Victor Barra, won 32, 33, 34, and 35.
Man, that's good.
Yeah, so he was doing pretty good, but the United States was not.
No, like I said, the USTTA didn't form until 1933. And even then, if you wanted to go play really like high-level table tennis, you went to one place in the entire country, Lawrence's Broadway Courts in Manhattan Town.
You got to go to New York if you want to play ping pong, see?
Yeah. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere in the U.S. But don't even try it in Hungary.
Yeah, it just wasn't, it just didn't catch on like it did in Europe.
No, it didn't. This is the same. Like there was never, I think it was kind of big in the 70s too. Again, pot in the United States, but it's never been like explosively, sustainably popular like it has in other countries. And in particular, so the Europeans are dominating table tennis from about the mid-20s to almost to the early 50s.
Yeah, and then from 30 to 50, the Soviet Union banned it for 20 years.
Oh,
so
really?
That left a Soviet vacuum.
Okay. So the Hungarians would have been under Soviet control then, huh?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I guess they would have been. So that would have, I guess, I wonder if that's when it moved over to Western Europe, Northwestern Europe, like Sweden and Germany.
Maybe. Because supposedly the best all-time player was a Swede.
That's what I've heard too.
What's his name? The Mozart of table tennis?
I don't know.
Jean Ove Waldner.
Oh, with the Jean part, I'm like, I don't know if he's Swedish, and then the Ove really got me.
It's probably not Jean. It's probably Jan Ove Waldner.
Yeah, nice.
Supposedly the best ever.
So is he contemporary?
I don't know.
Okay, so you've got Europe dominating. America's like, we're not even trying right now. And this is basically from the 20s to the early 50s. And then in 1952, Asia steps in and says, don't forget Asia, in the form of a man named Hiroji Sato. And he showed up at the World Championship in 1952 in Bombay or Mumbai. And he said, hey, you know how there's no rules about what kind of paddle I can use or what size it is? Or there's not really a lot of guidance on the paddle? Check this out. He had put foam around his paddle. And boy, did that make the ball bounce back. It increased the speed of the ball tremendously, and he just dominated that tournament and became world champion in 1952.
By the way, that guy is totally contemporary, Jan Ove Waldner. He's in his 50s. He's retired now. I don't know why you would retire from table tennis.
So one thing I read an article about a kid who is one of the best in the world, who is actually from America. He's an Indian American. He trains, like he has to train to move around the table fast enough.
Well, supposedly, if you're an advanced player, you can burn up to 500 calories an hour playing table tennis.
Is that right?
That's what they say.
That's a Snickers bar and a half.
Yeah. I mean, I work up a sweat.
Sure.
But that's me as well, though, so you have to take that in consideration.
Yeah.
I can sweat playing chess.
I can't wait till you reach the age where you just walk around in public with a hand towel around your neck.
Oh, well, who does that? What's his name from The Office? Craig Robinson? Is that his name?
Oh, Craig. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's famous for sort of just draping a sweat towel over his shoulder.
Yeah. Why not, you know?
Good for him. I'm going to follow that lead.
So there's worse leads you could follow for sure, man.
Yeah.
So Hiroji Sato showed up with his foam paddle or foam covered paddle and just dominated and became the hero or the champion of that tournament and of the world. But there's 2 legends that happened to him afterward. One, he returned home and was hailed a hero and a champion by Japan. And 2, he returned home and was scorned as a dishonorable winner because he used an unusual paddle and never played table tennis again. And it turns out that he doesn't show up in any other tournament after that one. So maybe he was like, well, I achieved it. I'm going to go do some other stuff. Or maybe he really was like, this. Everyone's right. This was dishonorable. I'm never going to play again.
Interesting. I hope there wasn't some nefarious action taken.
I hope so too.
So over the years, a lot of changes have taken place to make it more playable and this is like the official rules in competition, to make it more playable and to make it better for people watching it. They lowered the net by about an inch over the years to make it, I guess, a little zippier and more fun. They increased, actually not too long ago, in 2000, they increased the size of the ball by 2 millimeters to slow it down a little bit because it was getting so fast people couldn't even follow it. It was like Forrest Gump up in there.
Yep.
And people are like, it has to be it's not a big TV sport here, obviously, but it's a big TV sport in a lot of the world.
Right.
Like, people watch this stuff.
Yeah. The camera has to be able to see where the ball's going. This isn't hockey, People want to see what's going on.
They could do the glowing ball like they did in hockey for a while.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Remember that?
Yeah, same company that did the 10-yard line or the first down line.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. I think
they patented glowy things.
Right. I think we talked about, I can't remember what episode, but we talked about that one before. But okay, so you have the foam padded paddle.
Uh-huh.
You've got balls that work really well. And you have, what else, Chuck? You have a lowered net.
Yeah.
You have a bigger ball. You have, and then probably the cream of the crop. That's not what I'm looking for. Man, am I just
the coup de grace?
No, that's the death below.
Okay.
The pinnacle. They made it an Olympic summer sport.
Ah, yes, in 1988.
Yes. Which
I'll never
is like,
forget it.
Now it's like, okay, now you're not just wasting your life being a pro table tennis player.
Yeah.
Just in it for the pot, You can actually train to go to the Olympics for your country.
That's right. Pretty monumental. Should we talk about playing styles a bit?
I think we should. I like where you're going or not going with this next.
Well, so the point is made in this article that table tennis is a game all about the style of play, sort of like boxing. You can come out swinging hard. You can come out with the rope-a-dope. You can play defense in boxing. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of do that in tennis. You can be really aggressive and try and set up for the big smashes, or you could be what's known as a chiseler or a pusher,
right,
and just be really fundamentally sound and wait for your opponent to make a mistake.
Right. And chiseling was huge back before the foam paddles because that's all you really had. You couldn't attack with a huge, super fast return. You could try, but it wasn't going to really work.
Yeah.
But once the introduction of foam came around, chiseling became like a decision. You could also be an attacker as well.
Yeah, I think now you got to have all of the weapons in your ping pong arsenal.
Right, exactly.
You can play the spin game, you can be defensive, but you also got to hang 15 feet back off the table and hit those big loop shots.
Right. Yeah, you want to be able to do both for sure.
So with the chiselers, though, the defensive-minded people, in 1938, this legendary match took place, the World Championships, between two of the greatest chiselers of all time, a Polish player named Alex Ehrlich and a Romanian named Paneth Farkas. This was such a, I read into this too. It just doesn't seem like it's possible that the following took place. Okay, well, this is how it was recorded in 1965 in Sports Illustrated. All right, there are a lot of little points here. This is 1938, by the way. Did you say that? Yeah. Okay. The most epic part of this was the first point. Supposedly, the very first point took 2 hours and 12 minutes to complete. So they just kept hitting it back and forth. It was a 2 hour and 12-minute volley. It was 0-0 at 2 hours and 12 minutes. That's how good these guys were at chiseling or just playing defensively. Like somebody hits it to you, you hit it right back. Somebody hits it to you, you hit it right back. You're not trying to smash it down their throat. Mm-hmm. You're just patiently waiting for them to make a mistake. It's a fast game still. It's not like playing with a 6-year-old. Right, but the thing is it's a fast game, but you as the player
and probably as a spectator, are like start to feel like you're about to go insane because you're locked into this 0-0. Like at the time, ping pong was played to 21. Whoever got to 21 first, and then you had to still win by 2 points. So if this was 0-0 for 2 hours and 12 minutes, the ball crossed the net 12,000 times.
I just don't know if I buy it.
That's a problem time-wise.
Yeah, so here's all the things that supposedly happened. A referee in the match, his neck locked up and had to be replaced mid-point.
His neck had to be replaced.
Yeah. Ehrlich switched hands because he got tired and played with his left hand for a little while every now and then.
I believe that.
During the point, the ITTF got together to negotiate shortening the game to 5 points instead of 21.
Right, but they had to have the proper representatives from the different countries there, and Ehrlich was the representative from Poland, so they couldn't have this meeting without him, so they had the meeting tableside during the match, like during this point as it was going on.
Supposedly, Ehrlich had a chessboard set up tableside, and during the match was also playing chess and saying what move to make.
I don't know about that.
That's what he said. That's why I don't believe any of this. This all sounds like tall tale.
Well, there are other people there.
All right. Well, then he played chess.
I don't know about that one. But I do think that there are definite elements to that. I believe that there was a 2 hour and 12-minute period where they were 0-0.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think at least that's true.
Well, there's so much stuff attached to this, it makes me doubt the whole thing. Okay. Austrian players supposedly went to a movie, came back, still during the first point. And then finally, the Romanian Paneth Farkas missed a return. Ehrlich goes up 1-0. And then they start in on point number 2. They get 20 minutes into that one. And supposedly other members of the Polish team pulled out knives and bread and a 2-foot sausage, thinking that they were going to be there forever. And this made Farkas basically lose his mind.
He lost his marbles like Burger King.
He went on the attack at that point. He went from being a, what do they call it, a chiseler, to going hard on the attack. Hit it twice. Ehrlich returned both. And then he basically lost it, supposedly just blasted the ball over his head and ran out screaming.
I love that story. That's one of the better ping pong stories around.
Yeah, I believe about 10% of it.
All right, but even if the only thing you believe is that they were 0-0 for 2 hours and 12 minutes.
No, you keep saying I believe that.
I'm saying even if that is the only thing you believe, then that's good enough.
Yeah, I don't buy any of it.
What do you think? Like that there was a match between these two and then that's it? Everything else is made up?
No, I think lore has taken over and that it has been enriched over the years to where people were going to movies and the dude was playing chess. And,
sure, yeah.
I don't buy that it went down like that.
But do you believe that they were 0-0 for 2 hours and 12 minutes?
I don't know if I believe that or not because I haven't seen a verified source other than this guy telling the story.
Okay.
Where did you see it other than this guy telling the story?
Nowhere, but I mean, like, that takes a lot of gall to just make up that story, tell it to Sports Illustrated, have it printed in Sports Illustrated, knowing that anybody could go behind you and say, well, let's look at the records for that night and see, and just say, well, this guy's totally lying.
Well, my answer is people have gall.
Yeah. Well, you and I are going to agree to disagree just to keep things moving, because I think at the very least they were 0-0 for 2 hours and 12 minutes. I buy that.
Here's what I think. I'm definitely not going to say, well, it was in Sports Illustrated.
What?
So it had to be true.
All right.
So
that's enough ragging on Sports Illustrated from you.
Hey, I got that magazine for many, many years.
Okay.
You know who's on my first cover?
Gisele Bundchen.
Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
I started getting it when I was a kid.
Jeez, wow. Do you still have that one? I'll bet it's worth like $7-10 now.
I do. I think my mom kept all the many, many years in a box. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of fun to go through and look every now and then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. So this fake match happens in the 1930s. Jewish table tennis players, and we should point out that many of the early world champions were Jewish men. They fled Germany for England. And then Ehrlich, who we just mentioned, the Polish player, was threatened, obviously. He was in Poland when the Nazis invaded, and he was sent to Auschwitz. And he was literally being led to the gas chamber when a German Nazi guard recognized him and spared his life.
Yeah, like he was about to die, and he got moved around from concentration camp to concentration camp until the Allies liberated him and others from the concentration camp he was in. And then right after the war, he went right back to table tennis.
Man.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
All right. I think we should take a break
Okay.
and go talk about Sports Illustrated some more.
All right.
That bastion of
Journalism?
education and journalism.
That's right.
And we'll be back right after this.
Well, now, when you're on the road, driving in your truck, why not learn a thing or two from Josh and Chuck? It's stuff you should know. Stuff you should know. All right.
Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner, or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today.
All cat parents understand the feeling of being ignored by your cat and often asking yourself, does my cat even love me? And there is only one solution to solve that, Sheba. Feed your cat Sheba and go from feeling ignored to truly adored in 12 days guaranteed or your money back. Sheba has a menu of products, appetizers, entrees, treats, and even a kittens menu. So Sheba has a product for even the pickiest eater, like the Sheba Puree, which is made with bone broth. It's a protein-rich, lickable treat with chef-inspired flavors. It has a smooth and creamy texture that cats love. Plus, it supports a strong bond between pet parents and their cats with a hand-fed cat treat. It also contains no corn, wheat, soy, or artificial flavors. So instead of feeling ignored, you're suddenly the center of their world. It's basically a fast pass to favorite human status. Next time you're wondering if your cat loves you, grab Sheba Puree or explore their entire range of textures and flavors at your local retailer. To learn more, check out Sheba.com.
Learning things with Chuck and Josh. Stuff you should know.
All right, so Chuck, we were talking about like chiselers and attackers and all that. And at first, if you played ping pong up until the 50s, up until Sato showed up with his foam paddle, you were basically just chiseling. Everybody was chiseling. This is a patient back and forth game.
Just chiseling.
Once the foam paddles came up, it changed the game so radically. Like you said, they actually enlarged the size of the ball to increase the air resistance to it, to slow it down.
Yeah.
Which was a huge change for everybody to get used to as well. I think that was in the 2000s that change was made. But from the 50s to the 2000s, people were just crushing the ping pong ball. It got really fast and really fast paced and it was fun, but it got too fast. So, The ITTF stepped in and said, no, we got to make some changes. And that's some of the other things that they've done too. They've made changes in rules over the lifetime of ping pong to make the game hard and interesting, but also to make it fun to watch too.
Yeah, they now you play to 11 in competition play. It used to be 21 for most just sort of backyard fun players. It's still 21.
But these people are
21.
These people are so good though that 21 it's way too long of a game.
No, you can play a point for 2.5 hours.
Right, 2 hours and 12 minutes to be precise.
They change sometimes the serve rotation, like how many times you serve in a row before you switch it up, which side you play on. You can't hide the ball when you serve because trying to make the game as fair as possible. The dimensions of the table are kind of interesting if you're looking at it in meters. And if you're from the United States, it's a 9-foot long table, 5 feet wide, 2.5 feet high. But that's 2.74 meters, 1.525 meters wide, and 76 centimeters high.
Right.
The net is 6 inches high, but that's after they lowered it a bit.
Have you seen how they make balls?
Yeah, like the little factory?
Yeah, you saw like video of it being made?
I can watch that stuff all day long.
I know, same here. If you look at ping pong balls before they're formed into balls, they actually start as little flat plastic circles. And that is one half of a ping pong ball. And they take it and they form it. They press like a ball bearing, ping pong ball size ball bearing in hot water to mold it. And they take two halves, and put them together and seal them. And then they trim off the fat. And there's your ping pong ball. But that's not the end of the life of the ping pong ball manufacturing process, because the companies that make ping pong balls, specifically there's one that's like a globally dominating ping pong equipment company called Double Happiness, which we'll talk about later. But they do so much quality control, it's astounding before they sell a ping pong ball.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like there's a to measure bounce, there's like a specific amount of bounce that the ITTA requires for a ping pong ball. And so a company will measure it by dropping it a set height, I think like 300 millimeters, and it has to bounce back up like 240 to 260. And they measure it with the digital camera. It has to have a specific hardness, so they use a robot with a needle to test the pressure it takes to puncture it with a needle.
It's like Casper mattresses, but they drop a human.
Exactly. They roll it down an incline to see where it veers. I mean, like there's a lot going on there just to make a ping pong ball that's usable in a game.
Sure.
I think that, I just think it's top notch that they take it that seriously, you know?
Oh, I mean, any competition sporting ball undergoes incredible testing.
Right.
Like they just don't throw out an NFL football or a basketball either, or a tennis ball.
What?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. But ping pong balls, that's what I'm talking about here.
I think you secretly are kind of making fun of ping pong.
I don't mean to be. I'm just
ping pong?
My idea of ping pong has changed as a result of
Right.
Researching this. How about that?
So the paddles themselves, they are laminated wood. When you look at them, you can tell it's sort of pressed together of different woods. Mm-hmm. Some of them are fiberglass. There are carbon fiber paddles, which I would love to give that a whirl.
Yeah, but I saw that the 85% of the thickness has to be wood. So does that mean there's like carbon fiber in the middle of it?
Maybe, just to make it like slightly lighter would be my guess.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea.
Okay.
There are all kinds of materials, like from just the regular, you can still get like the sandpaper paddles, very lo-fi. Mm-hmm. But that padded rubber on one side and the textured little rubber dimples on the other side, which have to be two different colors, by the way, because the other player supposedly needs to know which side you're hitting it with.
Right.
So they know what's coming, or, to a varying degree, what might be coming.
Right.
But that's sort of like the classic paddle that most people have settled on right now.
Yeah, and the smooth padded side would be for chiseling, and the dimpled side would be for attacking, and for probably the most important part of ping pong is spin, to add spin to the ball.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good spinner.
Oh, you are, huh? Like not just one kind of spin? Can you do multiple kinds of spin?
Yeah, I've got a good backhand spinner shot that's very fast and sort of a flick of the wrist that it just shoots off the paddle and then has a nice little top spin to it.
Wow.
And I try and angle that to like the farthest corner that I can.
That's really impressive, Chuck.
Well, I didn't say I was great at it, but
you try.
That's the aim.
This is what's going on in your head, at least, right?
Yeah, but I'm not like a great, what do you even call it? A smash or a slam?
An attacker?
Well, just the big,
Oh, the smash mouth.
Yeah, the smash mouth. I'm not a good smash mouther. I'm not great. I mean, I can get lucky every once in a while, but I still try because it's such a boss move.
It really is pretty cool.
But that's sort of the variation of the loop stroke, which is what you see on TV when someone just throws a big haymaker. Mm-hmm. It's all in the hips and the legs, tons of top spin. And that's sort of like that main shot for what would be a big smash to me is sort of the regular shot that people volley back and forth on in competition.
Right. And when you're doing the loop, it's like, from what I saw, it's an upward chopping motion where you're just basically bringing the paddle up really quick as it comes in contact with the ball, which, like you said, gives it tons of top spin. And there's this thing called the Magnus effect with fluid dynamics, where as this ping pong is moving through the air, the bottom or the side of it that's spinning into the air is generating more resistance. So there's higher air pressure there than there is on top, on the bottom, which makes the ball fall because there's less air pressure there. So when you put spin on the ball, depending on which direction it's going, you can make it go left, right, up, down, and depending on the type of what's it called when you hit the ball? Not the grip, the swing,
a pong.
Depending
the stroke?
on I guess it's the stroke. Depending on the stroke you use, you can apply different spin to the ball. But that's the big reason why, like, one side of a ping pong paddle is dimpled, so that you can make contact with the ball and really kind of grip it while you're giving it that spin.
Yeah,
ping pong.
So there are all kinds of grips. The shake hand grip is sort of, if you don't play a lot of ping pong, it's probably just the standard little grip that you would want to use. The pin hold grip is what you see my brother and Asian players use. That's Scott's move.
The one with the thumb on the back side of it?
Yeah, it's basically your thumb and forefinger kind of wrap around the handle and almost touch each other, and then your other three fingers are resting on the back of the paddle itself. And it sort of looks like you're holding the paddle upside down. Well, because you kind of are.
Yes.
But that's my brother is a total pin holder.
Gotcha. What about the C. Miller grip? Do you ever do that?
That's Danny C. Miller. I didn't really quite get that. That's like the shake hand. But what I saw was like the thumb and forefinger are kind of resting on the face of the paddle. Sometimes the forefinger is wrapped around sort of on the side of the paddle.
What I saw was that, so you've got your pinky finger, your ring finger, and your index finger.
That's on the paddle
handle. Your middle finger are all wrapped. Yeah, that's on the handle. Your forefinger and your thumb are like they're like up against the edges of the paddle. And it makes it easier to spin the paddle and control it. That's what I saw as the C. Miller grip.
Yeah, well, it's easier to flip the paddle to use both sides of it.
Right, exactly. So you want to chisel here and then maybe a little attack there, put some spin on, and then just push it back. You just flip it back and forth, thanks to Danny C. Miller. Yeah,
and I love the next part of this article, which is like, if you want to know all the rules of ping pong, go look them up.
Right.
Because it would be kind of boring just to read all those out.
Sure.
But there are, if you're playing at someone's house, you play house rules. Just ask what they are.
Yeah, be a good guest.
Be a good guest and say, what are the house rules? Because people play differently. Some more, not obscure rules, but sort of nitpicky rules that casual players might not know. And depending on where you play, the house rules, it may take effect or not. You're supposed to toss the ball at least 16 centimeters into the air before you serve.
Right.
My house rule is you just have to have some air between like you can't just hold it in your hand and hit it off your hand. Like we don't say it has to be 16 centimeters, but there has to be a little bit of air between your hand.
Oh, I see.
The ball has to be suspended before you serve it.
So what happens if someone violates your house rules? Are they like tarred and feathered?
No, you say, dude, what are you doing?
Not cool, bro. Here's a smash mouth for you.
And you have to serve behind the end line. That's a pretty standard even for house rules. Like if you're
really?
leaning over the table.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
you can't lean forward a couple of feet. That's
I
not
got
good.
you. Because I was going to say, I thought you were saying like you have to get it inside a square to get it to the other square, and I saw that only applies in doubles.
Yeah, you can serve it to either side
when you're playing singles.
Correct.
Right, and then if it touches your hand that you're holding the paddle with, apparently according to the ITTF, your hand is part of the paddle as far as they're concerned. So if it bounces off of your hand, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I always get the thumb hit, though, and it always sends it off in a bad direction.
Yeah.
And I always go, thumb hit.
You need to do more C. Miller.
More C. Miller, less thumbsies.
Right.
The pimples, believe it or not, those are regulated. They cannot be larger than 2 millimeters.
But astoundingly, the size of the paddle is not at all regulated. You could show up with a pickleball paddle if you wanted to, and they'd be like, yep, it works. But the foam padding on either side. If you're a competitive table tennis player, you glue your own foam on.
And you can cheat it too, right?
Yeah, until the Beijing Olympics, you could, from I think the 60s until the Beijing Olympics. They would use a specific kind of glue that would expand but at the same time soften the foam underneath the exterior of the foam padding. So you've got like the layer that like the rubbery layer, and then underneath that is foam, like a spongy material. It would get into the pores of that spongy material, and it would make that ball bounce even faster, and would just give it an enormous amount of speed.
But just for a short amount of time, though, right?
Right. So if you were in a tournament, you were pulling off and then re-gluing your foam pads on multiple times over the course of that weekend, because you get about 3-4 hours of good, ricochet return off of those things. And then they would dry up and it wouldn't be quite as useful.
Cheaters. I love that article you sent where they were basically like, everyone was doing it. Everybody.
They called it doping, table tennis doping.
I know.
But the problem is it had a lot of volatile organic compounds, so the International Table Tennis Foundation said, no, we don't want people getting cancer, so we got to ban it. And they actually test paddles now in a little machine that tests for volatile organic compounds.
I love it.
Yep.
Get those rats out of the game.
Get them out.
You got to win by 2, like we said. Generally, you played a 21 at home, 11 in competition, I think we said. And then, obviously, you just anything is a point if you get the point. It's not like volleyball. You don't have to be serving to get the point.
Right. Which I love that, too. It makes the game go a lot faster.
Yeah, and just my whole problem is keeping up with that score.
Yeah, that's why you want a sober person there keeping score for you.
And I guess we should finish with this, a couple of things, but you've heard the term ping pong diplomacy.
Yeah, there's a big story there.
Yeah, that came from a real thing that happened. Obviously, China lived in isolation for decades and decades from the rest of the world. And then during the Cold War, of course, the U.S. was on the opposite side of China. Not a lot of travel going back and forth or allowed between the countries until the international competition of 1971, where the Chinese table tennis team went to the championships in Japan,
right?
Met some Americans, and in particular one American named Glenn Cowan. And he was like, hey, man, like we're all the same, really. We all love table tennis, regardless of our grip. Let's shake hands. And he rode the bus with them on the way back to the hotel.
So let me just interject here. He got on the bus accidentally. He had missed his own bus, and these were buses that were taking the teams to the hotel. And there was like the first 10 minutes of this 15-minute bus ride were silent and tense because these two enemy groups were on the same bus, and no one knew what to do until Zhuang Zedong stood up and said, I'm going to go talk to this guy.
Yeah, but they got along great. Like I said, they had more in common than they thought. Mm-hmm. And table tennis or ping pong is literally what brought them together. And it was seen as a sort of an emblematic thing. Flash forward a bit to the press covering this. It becomes a big deal. The U.S. table tennis competition team said, we want to go to China. Because they're the best of the best over there. And Mao Zedong said, sure, come on over. They did so in April of 1971. They spent a week there. It was big in the news. And it literally kind of thawed relations between the U.S. and China.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
amazing.
It paved the way for a trip by Richard Nixon. Like the U.S. table tennis team went over there before Nixon did, and just shared love of table tennis and this just kind of international exposure of these two enemy countries, like getting along, whatever it takes to build common ground and consensus. If it's table tennis, awesome, so much the better. So it led to normalized relations between the two countries very quickly, like within a year after the beginnings of normalized relations within a year after the thing, where all because Zhuang Zedong came over and said, hey man, I just want to say thank you for playing table tennis, and gave him a scarf. And Glenn Cowan had a comb on him, and he's like, this isn't a good enough reciprocal gift. So he later gave Zhuang Zedong a T-shirt with a peace symbol on it, which is pretty cool.
And Richard Nixon, well-known lover of Szechuan cuisine and marijuana.
Yes, and peace symbol T-shirts. He
So
was
it all
always
worked out.
wearing one of those in public.
We should also talk a little bit about ping pong robots. In 1992, they built a table tennis robot. It was okay. You could program it to imitate different styles, but it wasn't like when it played against a human being. It was what would happen there?
It was just shooting them all to the same place at the same velocity.
Oh, that's right.
So
It was
you knew
over and
exactly
over.
where it was going to go. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of training from it. But then they started inventing robots that could like add spin to it and
Right.
pick its own moves. And that was in like the early 90s when they first came out with those. And the ones they have today, one came out in 2016 called Forpheus, Forpheus.
Man, this thing is scary looking.
Yeah, it is, and it can play some mean ping pong. But it like actually plays you. It's an AI that plays you in ping pong, but it's like a giant mechanical spidery kind of looking thing.
Yeah, it's really creepy looking. It looks like a big spider sitting high above the table across from you. And I saw the video of the guy playing it at CES, and I felt bad for the guy because
I know.
you cannot beat the thing.
Well, plus he also goes, well, plus I'm kind of nervous because all these people are watching.
Well, and he asked at one point, he's like, "Is there literally like nothing I can do that this thing won't return?" They're like, "Nope."
Yeah.
So then he was like, "Well, why am I even here?"
Well, yeah, it's an AI. It's tracking the ball's velocity and trajectory and like making calculations about how to best return it. You're not going to win against it.
Nope.
Nope, but you can train really well to beat other humans' socks off with it.
That's right.
So I don't have anything else, do you?
I'm looking at my fun facts. I got in 3 of the 4. The last one here is in 1993, the world record was set between 2 players who, if you're talking like speed ping pong, they hit it back and forth 173 times in 60 seconds.
Oh my God.
That is some serious speed play.
That's an amazing fact, but it's got nothing on the 2 hour and 12-minute point.
Fake news.
All right. Now you got anything else?
I got nothing else.
All right. Well, if you want to know more about ping pong, go start playing. It's the greatest thing you can ever try to do with your life. And since I said that, it's time for listener mail.
We should totally have a ping pong table here at work.
I agree.
I don't think we have room for it anymore, but at one point we probably did.
I know. Now where it's all this like production space.
And we're like, where's ping pong? I'm going to call this, well, we've been getting a lot of heat lately for 2 errors, one of which was sort of a joke by me,
Oh boy.
which I'm going to read now. But we should also say about figs and dates and prunes
Same
and raisins.
thing. They're all the same thing. It's like pork, ham, and bacon.
Now, we heard from a lot of people about that, and we understand now.
Yeah, I mean, I got it flat out wrong. So sorry about that, everyone. You can stop telling us now.
Right. This is about average life expectancy, which I was kind of just kidding about. It was, I think, Spanish flu episode. I made a joke about the life expectancy being like 50 or something, and I was like, so I'd almost be dead. So I'll just read this. Hey, stuffers. I hope this doesn't come across as being snarky or trolly, but I think you should try and clear up the difference between average, actual life expectancy and average life expectancy. Chuck, more than once, so I guess I've said this before, you've made it sound as if people in the past could only expect to live into the 30s or 40s. That is not the case. People live well into their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, just like today. And he gives some prominent examples of old people back in the day. And then he says what drove the average life expectancy down was the insanely high rate of infant and childhood mortality. People had huge families back in the past just to try and ensure that some of their children survived into adulthood, because so many died as infants and others never made it past their 2nd or 3rd year due to mumps, measles, influenza, etc. The absolute horror of whooping cough, let's not forget polio, and any number of plagues that modern medicine has managed to render vastly less lethal, thanks mostly to our friend vaccines. So, more and more children are surviving the battlefield called childhood and growing into adults, and the average life expectancy has become much longer.
This is a great email.
Thank you, Western Medicine. That's from Joseph Cottrell. And Joseph, I was kind of just kidding about that.
Which time?
Well, every time.
It was a recurring joke.
But that was a very kind email, and it was fun and funny,
Yeah.
and you did it right. So thank you.
For sure. Plus, also, it gave you a chance to tell everybody that you know that that's the case.
Yeah.
And it gave me a chance to let everybody know that I was totally wrong about dates and figs.
Sure.
Well, if you want to correct us like Joseph did, that was an A+ correction email, Joseph. You can get in touch with us. You go to stuffyoushouldknow.com and check out our social links, or you can send us an email to stuffpodcast@howstuffworks.com.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit howstuffworks.com.
Geico presents a 30-second podcast between your podcast. Today's story is shared by one of our listeners. It's called Betrayed by Bill. It was in that moment I caught who was staring back at me in betrayal, or more like what? My insurance bill. With trembling hands, I grabbed my phone and switched to Geico, saving about $900 in the process, and never to be betrayed again. Now that was bloody riveting.
It feels good when the story ends with savings. It feels good to Geico.
Hey, quick question for the parents listening right now. When's the last time your kid asked for something and you actually felt good saying yes? Because lately, a lot of families have been hearing the same thing. Can I have Lingo Kids, please?
And here's the thing. Lingo Kids is the #1 entertainment platform for young kids with more than 4,000 interactive games, songs, and shows. Astronauts, wild animals, superheroes, dinosaurs. It's literally everything kids love all in one place.
So when they ask for it, you can actually feel good saying yes. Download Lingo Kids for free and start exploring today, or unlock even more amazing content with Lingo Kids Plus. And if you go with the yearly plan, you can save up to 60%. Just search Lingo Kids in the App Store or Google Play. Lingo Kids, everything kids love.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.